Hi, my name's Bianca DeVos from iHear Learning at ihearlearning.com, and welcome to Video 3, Creating Your Global Issue. In this lesson, you're going to learn how to create a global issue that's firmly rooted in one of the 5 fields of inquiry or inquiry, depending on where you're coming from. So let's head on over and take a look at lesson 3, and you can learn all about how to create a very successful, well-crafted global issue. So let's get started on creating your global issue. In videos 1 and 2, I left you with homework, and if you've made it to video 3, you should have the following with you. 1, you have selected your literary text. 2, you have selected your non-literary text. And 3, you have ideas for your global issue and field of inquiry. When talking about choosing my literary text and guiding you through the process, I concluded with my choice of Carol Ann Duffy's The World's Wife. When choosing your text, you want to make sure that the author presents the global issue throughout their work. More on the importance of that later, but really I can't stress enough that when you're choosing your literary body of work, you want to be choosing it because your global issue is present throughout the body of work, not just in 1 or 2 sections. So while deciding on your global issue, it's important to have your bodies of work selected and for your bodies of work to allow you to do the following. So for your literary body of work, you want your literary body of work to allow you to select an extract that demonstrates your global issue. So you need to ask yourself if your selected body of work allows you to do that. Does it allow you to refer to 3 or 4 different parts of the text that further explore my global issue? So this is really extrapolating on what I've mentioned in the previous slide. It must refer to 3 or 4, you must be able to refer to 3 or 4 different parts of the text that further explore your global issue because, and we'll cover this more in this video on structure of your individual oral, but when you zoom out in the zoom out section of your literary text, you need to refer to approximately 3 or 4 different parts of the text that further explore the global issue. And that allows you to hit that point in the criteria sheet that asks what you did with the body of work. If you analyze the body of work, if you demonstrated your knowledge and understanding of the body of work. So if your literary text does not allow you to do that, then it's not the right text for you and you need to reconsider your global issue. Okay, does your literary body of work allow you to pair it well with your non-literary body of work? So the two do need to jive well together. Obviously, the global issue needs to appear across both texts. And really, something that's important that people really overlook is that the body of work needs to allow you to demonstrate that you enjoyed reading the text and enjoy talking about it. So when the IB is training the examiners in regards to what is a level 7, something that comes up is that it's a joy to listen to. So a level 7 is engaging and enjoyable for examiners to listen to. And that's because it shows that you are interested in the text. So we can really hear when students are interested in the text and when they enjoy talking about the text. And quite often, this is a sign of a level 7. It's not something that you are struggling through. Okay, so when thinking about my literary text and considering what non-literary text to select, I can see that both The World's Wife and the Barbie movie have common themes and global issues. I know that this will work as a good pairing And this was made evident as I was teaching. So let's take a moment to pause and focus on something that's really important that I've already mentioned, but I'm going to repeat it once more. Your global issue needs to be evident when presenting your extract and your bodies of work, and not a tenuous link. So it's not something that you're forcing on your texts. It's something that is obvious. Your global issue also needs to be present in 3 to 4 different locations or passages throughout your bodies of work, throughout both your non-literary and your literary bodies of work, and that's the whole text. And something else to note, and this is something that is quite often overlooked, is that these locations in a film or advertising campaign or novel or collection of poems ideally are spread out so they cover the entirety of your literary or non-literary body of work. So for example, if you're studying a novel and you've chosen this as your literary body of work, you don't want to have an extract from chapter 6 and then your 3 to 4 other references when you're discussing the body of work from chapters 5, 6, and 7, if it's a 15 or even 10 chapter novel, because you want to show your knowledge and understanding of the whole body of work. And one of the best ways to do that is by referring to the body of work, but in different sections in your zoom out portion of your individual oral. And like I just said, this will help you to demonstrate your knowledge of the body of work, which is criterion A. So let's take a look at your non-literary body of work. You need to consider if your non-literary body of work allows you to select an extract that demonstrates your global issue. There are many options for what an extract is when it comes to the non-lit component, as discussed in a previous video. Does it allow you to refer to 3 or 4 different parts of the text that further explore your global issue? Does it allow you to pair it well with my literary body of work? And again, does it allow you to demonstrate that you enjoyed studying the text and enjoy talking about it? So as far as an extract goes in your non-literary work, it's not an extract as you would envision it for the literary extract. It could be a cartoon from a collection, a series of stills from a scene in a film, or an advertisement from an advertising campaign. I mean, there's so many options for non-literary, but you really need to make sure that you get that extract and body of work component, that you understand it before you progress with mapping out your individual oral. So here are the 5 fields of inquiry for reference: culture, identity, and community; beliefs, values, and education; politics, power, and justice; art, creativity, and the imagination; science, technology, and the environment. And remember, your global issue must be firmly rooted in one of these fields of inquiry. And ideally, you would flag that field of inquiry in your introduction. We'll look at that in further detail in coming videos when we look at how to best structure your individual oral and what kind of content we want to see in each section. So for creating a global issue, let's take a look at a sample and why it does not work. Okay, so our field of inquiry is culture, identity, and community, and our global issue, you framed it as the global issue of feminism. That's a no. Why? It's not focused, and tying into that, it's far too broad. And you don't lose points for this, but it's not very original. I can't tell you how many individual orals I've examined that just talking broad terms about feminism. It is a huge topic. You really need to narrow that down to an aspect of feminism or a cause or an effect. You need to get that narrowed down much further for it to be effective. Also, just as a side note, if you're a student who is not a feminist, but is claiming to be one in your IO, we can hear it in your voice. The highest scoring IOs are a pleasure to listen to, and we can see that the student is passionate about their topic. If you're just reeling out an IO about feminism because you were taught about feminism in class and you feel like it's something you should be doing, it doesn't come across as particularly genuine, and it's generally not going to get to that highest band. The whole point of the individual oral is to present on something that you're passionate about. So let's take a look at another example. Okay, so our field of inquiry is politics, power, and justice. Our global issue is the migrant crisis at the United States border. Does it work? No, it doesn't. Why? This one's pretty straightforward. It is not global. So you need to make sure that your global issue is exactly that. It's something that we see around the world. This doesn't mean that it needs to be occurring in every single country, okay? But it must be something that is not local to you. So I see this a lot as well when I'm assessing the individual orals. There's something in the news that is really captivating the candidate's home country, and they turn that into their global issue. But it's not global. It's in the news of their home country and really nowhere else. So let's take a look at the global issue that I have landed on using my non-literary and my literary bodies of work. So my field of inquiry is culture, identity, and community. And my global issue is female empowerment in a patriarchal world, using the literary text of Carol Ann Duffy's The World's Wife and the non-literary text of Greta Gerwig's Barbie, rooted in the field of inquiry, culture, identity, and community. Let's take a look at why this does work. So first of all, it's global. Okay, so all around, in many countries around the world, we see patriarchal societies, but we also see women who are empowered within this patriarchal society. You can go to any of the continents and you can see this occurring. It's rooted in a field of inquiry. Okay, so culture, identity, and community. You can see that female empowerment in a patriarchal world is firmly grounded in our culture, our identity, and our community. Also, it's concise and it's focused. It's not long, it's not wordy, it's not vague. We know exactly what this means, and we know that when we hear this introduced in an introduction or when we see it planted at the top of your extracts that you submit to the IB, we know that this is going to be a discussion of examples within texts where females are empowered despite or because of the patriarchal world that they're living in. Okay, so let's take a look at a checklist. You've selected your literary text. You've selected your non-literary text. And you are well on your way to deciding on your global issue. So these are the 3 things that you must do before you take a look at the next video in order to be nice and organized for your individual oral. In the meantime, what should you be doing? You should decide on your global issue and the exact wording of it. Mind that typo there. You should start to think about what literary extract you would like to use for your individual oral. And once you have done those two things, you can head over to lesson 4, which is using your literary extract to appeal to criterion A. So there it is, creating a global issue. If you found that video useful, then you should head over to ihearyoulearning.com, where you can look at booking one-on-one, paired or small group lessons to really help you with your skills in IB English and theory of knowledge. And in addition, there's also video courses that you can purchase that will help you with each of the major assessments for both of those courses, IB English and theory of knowledge. So I'll see you over there.